So at Boise State, we just spent this last year, and really just a year, implementing what we call the Degree Tracker tool. Degree Tracker was actually developed and implemented originally at University of Arizona. So we were the second school in the country to implement this tool at Boise State. What Degree Tracker does is taking what we're all talking about, degree maps, and it's putting it into an interactive tool. So I want to talk some more today about that implementation of the project and what that meant to our team, our campus, and things for you to keep in mind if you look forward to a project like this. So we are a PeopleSoft school. What's, I think, important to know about this tool with Degree Tracker, it is a bolt-on to PeopleSoft, so it was much more seamless for us then to be able to then integrate it with student records, our catalog setup, the course scheduling, data that we're able to extract from the Degree Tracker information we have as well is much easier coming out of PeopleSoft. So for more of the technical know-how, the algorithms, we'll talk about this later today in our breakout sessions too, and I can show you more examples of how Degree Tracker actually works. It is meant to be intuitive and user-friendly, so we'll talk more about the training and communication there, and then what we're able to process through the administrative screens. So the features of Degree Tracker, if you take a look at this list, I invite you to look at this and think about what resonates with your campus, depending on your culture, your student populations that you're working with, what stands out to you, what are your pain points at your school. For us, it's really, the timeline was a big one. We are technically a four-year school. We have a lot of students, though, who are pursuing their degree part-time. They're trying to balance family, their career, and at the same time pursue a college degree. So for them to be able to set their timeline and have flexibility in their degree map, it makes a huge difference. So we talked a little bit about what happened with University of Arizona. It took them about 3 years to develop and implement this tool. So we were very fortunate to come in second place. And I recommend that to a lot of schools. If you have an example of, if somebody's doing it right, R&D, research and duplicate, right? So just follow what other people are doing. Let them make the mistakes and let them spend the money. So we were very fortunate that way, and we had a great relationship with University of Arizona. They really helped us in creating our project plan. Also, we had some great staff, the consultants that were working with our team, and the team that we had on site at Boise State, so that made a huge difference. We are live with Degree Tracker now for a majority of the undergraduate students, and the reason I say a majority is we had a big curriculum shift going into 2012. The general education whole foundation changed, and so with that, it was much easier for us to make that our starting point. So probably one of the things that stood out most with this implementation was the microscope that this put on our curriculum at Boise State. When you have so many different people involved with your curriculum development, with your catalog setup, with course scheduling, it was really, really insightful in the beginning when we had our stakeholder interviews to talk with the representatives from the colleges and the departments, and they would tell us, sure, this is what our four-year plan looks like on paper, but we know that this course is not always offered when it says it is, that if a student fails this requirement, it won't be offered for another year, so they're really off track then. There are a lot of different people that are in the mix, and sometimes the right hand is not always talking to the left hand. So I think with this, and what I hope, is that this has really opened dialogue on our campus for all of these different parties that are involved: scheduling, registrar, academic advising, the colleges, from the president and the provost level down, for all of us to be talking about how can we really help our students to stay on track. And now we have this visual, now we have the reports and the data that we're able to pull out of this to say what's working and what are the challenges, what are the obstacles that are keeping our students from being successful. Just for kind of a side note, Boise State, on average, with the latest cohort, our students were earning 150 credits for their degree when most of the plans at that point were 128 credit majors. So really that for us was saying, where are our students wasting their time and their money when they should be able to graduate in less time and with fewer credits? So what are we doing to help or hinder that? And then what can we do now to increase our retention and graduation rates? Throughout the implementation as well too, scheduled offering of courses is really important. How many of you have background in advising? Okay, so you know you're trying to work with these students and create this great four-year plan, and you're trying to refer to all these different documents to say, well, here is one courses are actually offered, here's your transcript, here's your record as a student, here are the requirements for the curriculum here, how do we put that all together and make it work? And there are a lot of loopholes and all that, and places where we can either mislead students or not have the information at hand that we need to have. Really look to your advisors during this for their feedback, since they really are on the ground floor, they're working with the students. I think advisors have a lot that they can offer in any kind of an implementation project like this. Training and communication is key. Or are key, I should say. We were looking at this saying, okay, great, now we've dedicated the time, the resources to develop and implement this tool. Well, how do we know people are really going to use it? So we're working painstakingly with our advisors and through training and all the different parties involved to make sure that everybody knows about Degree Tracker, they're using Degree Tracker, it's part of their day-to-day work with students. And then what's the next for the students? As the students who are currently at Boise State and as they come in through orientation, once they're admitted to Boise State and they have access to Degree Tracker, what does that mean for those students? So how do we really make sure that this is integrated into our culture and people are really actually using the tool? And I'll talk about how that ties into the data as well. Anticipate managing changes. So we recognize that obviously there will be future curriculum changes. How do we stay in the loop with those changes? How are we on the schedule and working that into our own schedule to make sure that Degree Tracker is always reflecting those changes too? And knowing too that it's obviously a technical tool. So what are we then able to plan moving forward with our own resources for our PeopleSoft developers, for the technical staff, so that we can make sure that we're maintaining the tool and it's always working in the best way possible for the user. And always emphasizing this is a planning tool. So we have different information that's available through the academic advisement report. The two do actually read together. So they should be reflecting the same information, but always verifying, depending on what the campus is like for you. For us, the AAR, the Academic Advisement Report, is the degree verifying record. So we always want to make sure that we're using both. We started training with Degree Tracker, and we were out in sessions, and people said, oh, good, now that we have this, we don't have to use that AAR anymore. Well, no, actually, they're both really important tools, and we had to really explain why you would be referring to both. So, benefits for students. What's great about this is it takes all of those records and all that information and it brings it into one place. So whether it's we're taking in the catalog, the transcript, the student's record, their placement scores, what they've completed so far in the record, what they still have yet to take, the curriculum, the requirements, the prereqs, the co-reqs, all of that. When you think about that, you're bringing it all into one place. So it's making it a lot easier for the students to navigate what they need to do to complete their degree. The timeline, like I said, is set by the student, and so this is really important. The default plan is for a full-time student, 15 credits on average per term. We know that's important. We talked about that already. But what does that mean for a student? If they really do need to attend school part-time, if they want to be taking classes in summer, what does that look like to the student? So they have that flexibility to set that timeline. And then I think also it's important for the students to have that communication with the advisor. So now we have this standardized format for the degree plan. And if students are working with multiple advisors on campus, maybe they are a biology major and they're also in the honors program, and maybe they talk to both advisors and they have different requirements depending on those plans of those programs, or maybe they're a double major. So at least now all of the advisors and all the students can be looking at the same information and knowing that they're going off that same base plan. Another key part of this being a bolt-on in PeopleSoft is that students are able to enroll directly from their Degree Tracker plan. So just using the currently delivered capabilities, now the students are able to pull directly from their Degree Tracker plan. They know what they have in their plan, what they should be taking this next term, and they can enroll directly from that. So it takes many clicks out of the process, and it's a great way for the students to confirm and verify what's in their Degree Tracker plan. It's very intuitive, and I think that's important for any tool that you're looking to use. We did a fair amount of training with our advisors and other groups on campus, but for the students, it needed to be intuitive. And you know how they are, this generation, they just latch onto technology, and they're excited to see it, and they're excited to try something new. So we got the communication out to the students to let them know that Degree Tracker was now available to them, and we've done some other communication with our students who are coming in for orientation. Really it should just be simple and easy for them to use without any kind of training. So for advisors, Benefits, oh my gosh. You now have an electronic record of the student's plan. So for those of you who have worked in advising, you can spend a lot of time putting together this beautiful plan for students. And maybe you use Excel spreadsheets, maybe you have your own internal forms, the catalog, whatever you do. You're spending all this time referring to all these resources. You put together this beautiful plan, you hand it to the student, and they walk out of your office and they lose it. Or they ask you to keep it, and then every time they want to know what they should be taking, they want to come to you and get their plan. So now it's online. Now it's available to anybody at any time. So that, I think, is going to be a huge benefit for our advisors. We know it's the same view. Like I said before, it's standardized. We appreciate that. It allows for the advisors now, too, to spend less time talking about the base plan. This plan is already set, it's already defaulted by what the student has in their record, what their requirements are for their degree, so they don't have to spend as much time trying to figure out the plan, it's already done for them. And now the advisors can spend more quality time with the students talking about other pieces that are important to the student's degree and life after college. What are their postgraduate plans, their career plans? What can they be doing to take advantage of other opportunities they have in school? So now for our advisors, we're hoping that this creates more of an in-depth and quality type of advising for them. For the university administrators, and really this is at all different levels of campus, we are able to pull out some really interesting data that helps in course demand planning. We have now our crystal ball of sorts to say, our students are planning to take this course in this term in the future. So that course demand planning hopefully will really help our departments as they're scheduling classes. A lot of that right now is based on historical information, and now we're able to say, great, according to Degree Tracker, we can now tell you this is how my students will be taking this course. Intervention reporting, and I'll show you some examples later today in the breakout sessions. This is where we're able to look at the students, and because of the critical courses that we have marked, other information that we have within the plans, we now can pull reports to say, here are students that are on the brink. Maybe they failed an important requirement, it's not offered for another year. What kind of triage do we need to do with these students? Why are students not enrolling in courses that are in their degree tracker plan? So what can we do to reach out to those students? Now we have the reports to help us with that. So being more proactive, hopefully, you know, we're taking away kind of that panic that we have when students come to us and it's just too late. We can't help them at that point. But now with this intervention reporting, we can be a lot more proactive in what we're doing. We'll talk about critical courses. I'll show you that later today in the breakouts and what that means to our program so that they can identify what is keeping our students from moving through their degree plan. Are we not offering enough sections? Is there something not lining up with the curriculum? Maybe the courses are being offered at the same time. We just talked about that. So we look at that quite a bit. So we will look at more of this. I'll be happy to share examples with you and show you more of the features of the tool this afternoon. I invite you, if you don't have a chance to attend the breakout session, our website is right there, and that has a lot of great information about Degree Tracker on there as well.
Thank you, Ashlee.